So here's an example of how a AAA video game studio might make something like a gun. First, you have to model a weapon, and so what most game companies do is they get someone with actual talent to do the modeling for you. Now that we have a gun, you'll notice it's looking kinda gray. The first thing you want to do is establish the model's albedo, which is the base color of the object with no other lighting influencing the way it looks. This makes things look a little bit better, but it's kinda lacking in detail. One way to add extra detail to an object with minimal extra cost in performance is by using something called a normal map. Normal maps are these vaporwave looking images that give information about how light should be reflected off of an object's surface, giving the illusion of extra detail without it actually being there. In this example, it's being used to create the grooves in the grip plate, as well as a bunch of other smaller details. Normal maps are very powerful, but they have their limitations, which is why some details like the ridges on the magazine well are physically modeled into the mesh. One problem we have right now is that the entire model is being treated like as if it was made out of a single uniform material. Obviously, this isn't the case. Some parts of the gun are made of metal and others are made of wood. To solve this, we use something called a Metalness Map, and it's to specify which parts of the model are made of metal, indicated in white, and which parts are not, indicated in black. It'll become more apparent once we move on to the next step, which is the Roughness Map. The purpose of a Roughness Map is to specify how smooth or rough each part of the model is. Don't ask me how this works because I don't know, but once you apply it to the model, it becomes really apparent which parts are made of metal and which parts are made of wood. It's actually kind of awesome. There are other types of maps like Ambient Occlusion and Specular, which all have their own uses, but I don't really know much about those either, so I'm gonna skip them. All in all, this whole process of using these weird looking images to make your gun look realistic is part of a larger process called physically based rendering, or PBR, which attempts to mimic the way light works in real life in order to create more realistic 3D graphics. And this is how most game studios operate these days. Some other things that you can do to improve game graphics is by replacing the skybox with a high quality HDRI, as well as cranking up the glow to give everything that dreamy, high budget look. Repeat the same process for literally every single object in your game, and you've got yourself the next Call of Duty. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, bell button, follow me on Twitter, buy me a coffee, and as always, have a nice day.